Hey there, restaurant recipe lovers. Welcome back to The Daily Dish, a copycat.com podcast where I help you recreate your favorite restaurant dishes right in your own kitchen. I'm Stephanie Manley, and I've been recreating your favorite recipes since 1995. Before we dive into today's buttery biscuit goodness, I want to send a huge thank you to everyone who's been making our recipes and sharing those gorgeous photos on social media. Those tags and comments absolutely brighten my day, and they inspire me to continue recreating recipes for you. It's like we're all cooking together. As always, you can find the complete written version of today's recipe on copycat.com, and I've made sure to include a direct link in the show notes of this episode. That's where you can get all the measurements, helpful photos, and step-by-step instructions if you need a reference while cooking. Now, today we're tackling something I know many of you requested, those impossibly flaky, ridiculously buttery biscuits from Popeyes that somehow managed to steal the spotlight from their famous fried chicken. And ladies, I've cracked the code with just in 3 ingredients and about 20 minutes of your time. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, Stephanie, I've tried copycat biscuit recipes before, and they're never quite right. And well, I felt the same way too until I discovered two game-changing secrets that make all the difference. The first secret, it's about using the right biscuit mix. Popeyes, shockingly, does not make their biscuits from scratch in the back of the restaurant. They actually come in frozen. Can you believe that? I actually managed to get one of their boxes that their biscuits came in, and I looked at the ingredients listing on them. And you know what I found? I found that Pioneer Buttermilk Baking Mix is the only one that gives you the authentic Popeyes taste and texture. The ingredients in the Pioneer Buttermilk Baking Mix most closely resemble the ones that were on the Popeyes biscuits ingredient list. So that's why we're starting with those. Now, I would not use Bisquick. They had recently changed their formulation on how they make it. If you read the boxes now, if you make biscuits, you need to add oil to them to get that fat back in there. So don't use Bisquick. I found that Kroger baking mix or other store brand baking mixes do fairly well, but I'm telling you, Pioneer is the one to grab. The second secret here is we need to do a double butter application. If you've ever noticed the Popeyes biscuits, they are almost crispy on the bottom and crispy on the top. Now, how did they get there? Butter. The butter is what transforms these good biscuits into, oh my goodness, delicious biscuits. You'll brush butter on the baking tray before the biscuits go in. This gives them that perfect golden brown bottom, and brush a little bit more butter on the top as soon as they come out of the oven. That second butter application is what creates that signature glossy finish and that incredible flavor. Now, these biscuits are so easy to make. For this recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of Pioneer Buttermilk baking mix, 1 cup of buttermilk. Don't substitute for milk, it's just not going to come out the same. And then 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Now, these are going to have a divided use. You're going to use half to butter the baking sheet tray for when the biscuits go into the oven, and then use the rest of the butter on top of the biscuits later. Start by preheating your oven to 450 degrees. It's nice and hot for proper rising. Combine your baking milks and your buttermilk together. Combine them gently and stir until they're just combined. Don't overwork the dough. That's the number one reason why biscuits turn out tough instead of flaky. Once combined, turn the dough onto a lightly floured surface and pat it into a rectangle that's about a half of an inch thick. Don't use a rolling pin, just gently pat it out. And then you're going to use a 2-inch biscuit cutter to cut out your biscuits. You're going to get about 8 biscuits with this recipe. If you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can use a clean glass that's about 2 inches wide. You could use something larger, but it may change the cooking time just a little bit. So just keep that in mind. Then you are going to melt about 2 tablespoons of butter in the microwave, brush it all over your baking tray, place your biscuits on the tray so that they're just Place your biscuits on the tray. Don't let them touch each other. Bake for about 12 to 14 minutes until they're beautifully golden brown. And while they're baking, melt the remaining 2 tablespoons of butter. And as soon as those biscuits come out of the oven, brush the tops generously with melted butter. And then this is the all important step. Let them rest for about 5 minutes before serving. This allows the biscuits to set up properly. Now, what I love about these biscuits, besides how quick and easy that they are, is how versatile they can be. While they're perfect alongside fried chicken, I do have a wonderful Cracker Barrel Southern fried chicken recipe on the blog if you're interested. But there are many other ways to enjoy them. You can enjoy them in breakfast. They make incredible breakfast sandwiches. Split one open, add an egg and some cheese, or turn them into the base for biscuits and gravy. One listener, Martha from Tennessee, told me that she uses them as mini strawberry shortcakes in the summer. This is genius. Now, if you're watching your budget, these biscuits are a real winner. A package of Pioneer baking mix costs about $3 and makes multiple batches, bringing your cost to around 30 cents per biscuit. Compare that to Popeyes, where you're paying for over $1 a biscuit. One final tip before I let you go, these biscuits are at their absolute best fresh from the oven. But if you need to make them ahead, this is what I recommend. Prepare the dough, cut out the biscuits, and freeze them unbaked on a baking sheet. Once frozen, transfer them to a freezer bag. When you're ready to enjoy them, place the biscuits on a buttered baking sheet. Bake them at about 450 degrees for 15 to 17 minutes, and you'll have fresh tasting biscuits anytime. I hope that you give these 3 ingredients Popeyes biscuits a try. They really are that good, and they're so much easier than you might think. Remember, you can get the complete recipe on either copycat.com or by clicking the link in the show notes of this podcast. If you make these, please let me know how they turn out. Drop me a comment on the blog or tag me in your social media photos. I love seeing your kitchen successes. Until next time, this is Stephanie Manley from copycat.com, helping you bring the restaurant experience at home. Why go out when you can make it at home?